सहस्रशूरा महेश्वासा भीमार्जुनसमायुधि युयुधानो विराटश्च द्रुपदश्च महारथः धृष्टकेतुश्चेकितानः काशीराजश्च वीर्यवान् पुरुजित् कुन्तिभोजश्च शैव्यश्च नरपुङ्गवः युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्तः उत्तमौजाश्च वीर्यवान् सौभद्रो द्रौपदेयाश्च सर्व एव महारथाः.
Twilight draped Kurukshetra in a curtain of shadow and fire. The chariots stood in long gleaming rows. Flags snapped, horses neighed. The air was thick, not just with dust and the scent of leather and iron, but with tension. A war was about to begin, and its outcome would ripple across time. Duryodhana walked the length of his line, eyes locked across the plain. A faint chill passed through him. He saw the Pandava army, rank after rank, stretching into the horizon, and his heart thudded. But he did not pause. No, he would not show fear. He turned and approached Drona, his voice loud enough for all nearby to hear. "Oh, Acharya, look at that formation. See how our enemies have arrayed themselves." His voice was edged with false admiration, cleverly laced with anxiety. Their army is filled with warriors equal to Bhima and Arjuna. Drona raised an eyebrow. Equal to Arjuna? Equal to Bhima? Was that flattery or concern? Duryodhana continued, counting them off like a list of curses. Yuyudhana Satyaki, the fierce archer of the Vrishni clan. Virata, the king who sheltered the Pandavas in exile. Drupada, your old enemy, now fighting under the very man he once mocked. Drona's face hardened. Duryodhana saw it and pressed on, stoking the coals. Drishtaketu of Chedi, Chekitana, the king of Kashi noble warriors all, and then the brothers of Queen Kunti Purujit and Kunti Bhoja, and Shaivya too. He spat the names like fire. The list rolled on, growing longer. And more. There's Yudhamanyu, ever loyal, and Uttamoja, fearless as the wind. Subhadra's son, Abhimanyu, so young yet so deadly. And the sons of Draupadi, 5 fierce lions. He paused, breathing hard. Drona looked at him, his eyes narrowing. The names had power. They painted a picture in his mind, a terrifying picture. Duryodhana turned his head and whispered, "All Maharathas." As the night deepened, Duryodhana sat in his tent, alone with his thoughts. The names swirled around him. He saw their faces in the shadows. Every one of them a warrior trained by the same hands that trained him. Some had even fought beside him once. But now they stood against him. He poured wine into a bronze goblet, but did not drink. "Bhima, Arjuna," he muttered. Always those two, always them at the center. He hated that even as he tried to speak of others, those names returned like echoes. Arjuna's deadly calm, Bhima's unstoppable fury, and now more like them. Each name he had spoken earlier, it wasn't just a name, it was a threat. He stood and paced. "Yuyudhana," he said aloud. "Satyaki, loyal to Krishna. That makes him dangerous." He frowned. "Drupada, old but clever, cunning." Then his voice grew quieter. "Drishtadyumna, his son, still dangerous." A torch flickered outside his tent, casting long, waving shadows on the walls. He stared at it. "Even the sons of Draupadi," he said slowly. "They were born for war." A rustle at the flap. Karna entered, silent as a tiger. "You're troubled," Karna said. "I'm not afraid," Duryodhana snapped. "I didn't say you were," Karna replied, "but you should be." Across the field, laughter echoed. It wasn't forced, it was not loud, but it was real. Around a campfire sat Satyaki, Chekitana, and Drishtaketu. Abhimanyu leaned back with a tired smile. sharpening his arrows. Yudhamanyu tossed a twig into the fire. So, Duryodhana counts us all, thinks he's clever. Let him count, said Satyaki. He forgets that a lion doesn't count jackals before it strikes. Chekitana snorted. He calls us all Maharathas now. Did he forget what that means? No, said Abhimanyu. He knows. That's why he's worried. 10,000 archers, Drishtaketu said suddenly, gazing into the fire. That's what it means. One Maharatha equals 10,000 trained archers. And he named us all. Abhimanyu smiled, but his eyes were somber. He doesn't realize we are not here for fame or titles. We are here because of what he did. Satyaki raised his goblet to Dharma, to Draupadi, to Arjuna and Bhima, and to the men who will stand against darkness. They clinked cups. None of them slept that night. In a smaller, quieter camp beyond the main lines, the sons of Draupadi sat in a circle. No fire, no voices, only silence and thought. Prativindya looked at his younger brothers. We were born of war, he said. We were raised by warriors. Tomorrow, we prove we are not just shadows of our fathers. Sutasoma nodded. We have their blood, but we will fight with our own hands. Duryodhana doesn't know what we are, said Shrutakirti. He sees us as boys. Satanika pulled his bowstring tight. Let him think that. Let him laugh. Shrutasena looked to the stars. When morning comes, the field will know our names. They stood together, 5 against a world, children to the world, warriors in the eyes of fate. Arjuna stood outside his tent, gazing into the darkness. Krishna stood beside him, silent. He lists them all, Arjuna said softly, like a frightened man counting enemies in the dark. He fears you, Krishna replied, but he speaks of the others. Because that's how fear works, Krishna said. He cannot name you too often. It gives power to the fear. Arjuna smiled faintly. They will fight well, the sons of Draupadi, Abhimanyu, Satyaki, and they will look to you. Arjuna turned. What if I fail them? You won't, Krishna said simply. But even if you fall, they will rise. Arjuna nodded. Then let dawn come. Back in the Kaurava camp, Drona sat alone. The list of names echoed in his mind too. Satyaki, Virata, Drupada. Names with faces, faces with stories. Some had been children in his halls once. Students, eager, bright-eyed students. But war did not care for such things. He stared at the blade before him. It shimmered in torchlight. He picked it up. A Maharatha should not hesitate. Yet something lingered. A hesitation, a sorrow. Ashwathama entered without knocking. You've heard the names, he said. Yes, Drona replied. They will come for you. I know. Ashwathama studied his father's face. Will you be ready? Drona met his gaze. I must be. Drums beat before dawn. The earth seemed to tremble with every step of war elephants. The sky was still pale, not yet golden, but every soldier stood ready. Virata, his armor dented and patched, nodded to his soldiers. We fight for honor today. We fight for the land. Drupada raised his spear, silent. His old heart still burned for justice. Satyaki checked his bowstring. If I fall today, he muttered, let my name go forward in 1,000 songs. Drishtaketu clasped his blade. Let me meet the man who killed my father's hope, Uttamauja roared. Mahāratha or not, I will crush anyone who dares touch my king. The sons of Draupadi formed a line. Abhimanyu joined them, his eyes calm but gleaming. They will remember us, Abhimanyu said, or they will fall trying to forget. The horns blared, the chariots rolled, Kurukshetra thundered to life. Duryodhana washed from his golden chariot. He saw the men he had named. Now no longer just names, they were fire and lightning. They were coming for him. Satyaki cut through ranks like wind through dry leaves. Virata rode as he struck down 6 warriors in a single charge. Drupada and Drishtadyumna moved like 2 arms of fate. Chakitana and the king of Kashi struck in perfect rhythm. And there Abhimanyu, gleaming, untouchable, wild, he was a storm, a cyclone with a bow. And beside him the sons of Draupadi, like wolves let loose, 10,000 archers could not stop them. Drona saw it too, and for the first time in years he whispered to himself, "So many Maharathas, and each one burning brighter than I taught them to be." The sky wept ash, and the war had only begun. The story continues in the next verse.